This is episode number 56 of Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. In today's episode, we will be talking about Toy Story Land, located at Hollywood Studios in Florida.
Everything Disney in and out of the house. Two grown-ups and a mouse.
Hi there, I'm AJ.
I'm Andrew.
And you are listening to Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse.
The podcast.
The video cast if you watch it on YouTube.
The vlog.
Sure. So, let's just talk about it. Today's Toy Story Land. We'll just talk. Get all the housekeeping later. So, we went to Toy Story Land.
We did.
Again. We've been there a couple times now.
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, we've been there a few times, but we hadn't yet ridden Slinky Dog. So we wanted to wait until we did a little bit more inside of Toy Story Land, and then we said, it's a good time to talk about it.
Yep.
So why don't we start with the oldest attraction at Toy Story Land, Toy Story Mania.
Okay.
That you can be any height.
That's
and
right.
Any age. Mm-hmm. And it does spin. Basically, it's very similar, but nothing at all similar to Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin.
Right.
You know, it's an interactive video game. You are playing a game just like you do in Buzz Lightyear. And they do have handicap accessible vehicles. We know because we've ridden them before.
They actually have a couple of different types because I think they have I don't want to say it's like a roll-on necessarily, but there's the one that we did where it's a button instead of the pull string.
Right. Someone had recommended that to us because I was complaining about how you're pulling the string, and it hurts your arm after a while. And they said to try the handicap one because then you just hit the button instead of pulling the string. So we did try that once. Also, Toy Story Mania, you still have to walk up and down those stairs.
Yep.
To get to them. So if you have problems doing stairs, then you would want to do the handicap accessible anyway so that you do not have to walk up and down a flight of stairs.
That's right.
So that is really nice that it's easy. And you know what else about Toy Story Mania?
What?
It's probably one of the longest attractions.
Yeah.
Not including like the shows.
Right.
But the attractions that you would consider a ride.
Yeah, for a ride, it's probably
one of the
longest ones for sure.
Yeah, it's 8 minutes long, which for a Disney ride is pretty long.
Yep.
So even if you have to wait a while to ride this attraction, at least you're going to get your money's worth.
Right. Well, part of the when they revamped it to make Toy Story Land, they changed the ride the queue for it. So because it used to be you entered in the front of the building in what was Pixar Place, right? And then so now it's you enter within Toy Story Land, which is basically on the back of that building. So I think they made the queue a little longer, but basically once you get to the front, you go up the same stairs, go down the same stairs where the ride loading is. But I think they also added an additional game. And then they also, I believe they added additional capacity.
Right. By adding an additional game, it meant they could have more people. Because basically there are now 5 games inside of Toy Story Mania. Right. And your vehicle goes and it stops so that you can play each of the 5 games. So by adding, when there was 4 games before, now there's 5 games. That means another set of 2 or 4 vehicles.
Yeah, whatever it is.
That can play it at the same time. So,
well, they also added more tracks. So more cars, because so many people are playing game number 1, so many people are playing game number 2, right? So it's because it's almost a continuously moving type vehicle. So.
The 5 different games are Ham and Eggs. Which one is that, though? Do you know?
I don't.
Rex and Trixie's Dino Darts.
Right.
Those are where you're throwing darts at balloons.
Basically.
The Green Army Men Shoot Camp, which is my favorite, because that's plates. I don't know. I like the sound of the crashing plates, I guess.
Right. And it's kind of like a carnival game where you're throwing baseballs at a plate.
Right.
kind of thing.
Right. I mean, I think it's just the easiest for me out of the 5. Buzz Lightyear's Flying Tossers, which I don't know why it's Buzz Lightyear's Flying Tossers. It should be the Alien Flying Tossers because you're throwing rings around the aliens.
Yeah, it's a ring toss game.
Yeah. And Woody's Rootin' Tootin' Shootin' Gallery. So they're all fun.
They are.
But I think my favorite is the Green Army Men Shoot It Up.
Yeah.
And we really like Toy Story Mania. And now that they added the extra track, I think they added the capacity for fast passes. It's not as difficult to get a fast pass to that attraction, which is nice.
Right.
So it's definitely a ride that's worth going on. And again, if you do have to wait for a ride, it's definitely one that's worth waiting for, because as opposed to the traditional rides that probably average, about 2 minutes? Give or take?
Yeah, give or take.
Most of the rides that you ride on, like I said, I'm not including the shows. I mean, Carousel of Progress is really long. It's like 15 minutes long or 20 minutes long.
Right, but it probably is the longest.
Right, but that's a show. Well,
that's a show.
Universe
and a
of
ride.
Energy, I think, used to be the longest. That was like 20 minutes. That's not there anymore. But
Actually, it was longer because they basically, told you 9 times, do you have to go to the restroom? Are you sure?
Right.
Are you really, really sure?
Right. So I'm not including rides. Like, I'm talking about actual, it's still an attraction because it is a theme park, not an amusement park. And everything is themed,
Sure.
So they're not really thrill rides. They're just fun rides. So they're rides, but they're attractions.
Yep.
So that's why I'm saying it's one of the longer ride-like attractions. Right. There's my disclaimer. Then we did go twice. We've ridden the Alien Swirling Saucers.
That's right.
And again, I'll make an analogy, comparison. It's kind of sort of not anything like the teacups.
I don't even,
It's similar in that, some people get dizzy from the teacups, but the teacups, you sit in your own teacup and you have a little bit of control over how much you're spinning.
Well, but that's the thing, is that the teacups, they're spinning. There's the whole thing is obviously spinning. And then when you're looking at the ride itself, there's another little pieces that's spinning. So there's like 3 or 4 of those. And then obviously your teacup can spin.
Right.
So now in the Aliens, though, it's basically just doing a big figure 8 kind of pattern around, but the alien is dragging you, basically, is the premise, and your ride car swings back and forth.
Right. So
across about 180 degrees.
You feel like you are spinning.
Right.
But you don't have the same control that you have with the teacups.
Right.
So, but I still made the analogy because some people that are a little more motion sensitive, they might want to know that in advance, that if you are prone to motion sickness, it might not be the attraction for you. But we rode it twice. Both times we did not have fast passes, and both times our wait time was less than 30 minutes.
Right.
So
I mean, like, looking now, the wait time is 25 minutes for it. So and Disney,
and it's
generally,
a weekend. It's a weekend as we're recording this. So over
and
the summer,
Disney,
school just started for a lot of people.
Yeah, and then but Disney's generally pretty conservative with the wait times. So it says 25 minutes. It's usually less. So, and it might even be significantly less. When we saw it at 20 minutes, it was basically when it had just first opened, or pretty close to it. It said 20 minutes, but it was a little longer because the ride broke down. So,
right,
and we just decided to wait.
But it wasn't that much longer. It still was about 30 minutes. So it was
they
fine.
had it up and running in 5 minutes or so.
We were with 4 other people.
Right.
So, which, we never mind waiting on lines when we're with other people because it keeps us a little more occupied.
Sure.
But it's definitely a really cute ride. And that one, 32 inches tall to ride. So there is a height minimum, unlike Toy Story Mania. Toy Story Mania, there is no height minimum. So if you have a baby with you, you can carry the baby on the ride. I think the same is true for Buzz Lightyear. We've talked about this.
Right.
There's a lot of rides like that where you can carry your baby on and you don't have to worry about the height restrictions. But if you have toddlers or young children, you definitely want to look at the height restrictions before you go, because you want to make sure you can explain to your child, yes, you can go on this. No, you're not going to be able to go on this just yet.
Right.
So yes, Alien Swirling Saucers does have a 32-inch minimum, and that ride is about a minute and a half. I think it clocks in at like 85 seconds if what I read was accurate. So again, if that contributes to how much time you're willing to spend waiting for the attraction, it's about a minute and a half, but it's really cute. It's a nice little ride. And then finally, on our most recent trip, we went on Slinky Dog Dash.
Yep.
We have not been able to get fast passes for that.
Yeah, it's a tough one to get. But
we went with friends who were staying on property, and our My Disney experience is linked. And because it's linked, they were able to make the fast pass reservations for us along with their fast pass reservations. And what they did was they went to the very last day of their trip, because when you are staying on property, you can book it 60 days from the first day of your trip, which means if you're staying 10 days, you can actually do fast passes for 70 days.
Correct.
So what they did was went online, automatically went to the last full day that they were going to be there, and went for Slinky Dog Dash, and that's how they got it.
Yep.
Because they were there, that was their 5th day of their trip.
Right.
So
yeah, and fast passes get progressively easier to get as you go past that 60 days. Not a lot of people know about it. Not a lot of people, and then even then, I mean, not that many people are booking that far out. So, and
our fast passes weren't until 6:50 at night. That was the earliest they could get.
Yeah, so it was pretty close to, because I think Hollywood Studios closed at like 8 or 8:30 that day. So it was pretty close to the last set of fast passes they were handing out too. So.
Correct. So it was awesome that they were able to get that. We're very grateful for that. For Slinky Dog Dash, you do have to be 38 inches tall. And again, same friends. They have a 6-year-old who just recently surpassed that 38-inch mark. So was able to ride that attraction. She was really excited about it. There are some small drops in it, but what I like, because I do not like the feeling of dropping on like Splash Mountain or on a roller coaster that goes straight down, because I don't like the way it feels in your stomach. But these small drops on Slinky Dog Dash, you're kind of turned. The vehicle is kind of turned to the side, so you don't even really feel it as much.
There's a couple of spots. I would say a few people that we'd talked to had compared it to like Goofy's roller coaster in what is now not Toontown, but the extension of Fantasyland. I think Slinky Dog's a bit more thrilling than that, I guess.
It's still a kid's ride.
It is.
It's not like Aerosmith. It's still...
No, it's definitely not like Aerosmith or even Everest or Space Mountain, mostly because Space Mountain's in the dark, so you can't really see it.
Space Mountain also feels faster. It might not be faster, but because it's in the dark, it feels faster. But,
I would rate it similar to, maybe it's a step below, like the Mine Train, not Seven Dwarfs,
not a mind reader.
The one in Disney in Magic Kingdom.
Oh, Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
That's nothing like Mine Train. I don't know. I had no idea where you were going with that. I was very confused.
Well, you're in a mine train.
Well, whatever. Okay. Yeah. It kind of like if you have Seven Dwarfs on one side and you have Thunder Mountain on the other side. Yes, you could put Slinky Dog Dash kind of right in the middle. So it's a little more thrilling than Mine Train, but a little less thrilling than Thunder Mountain, which also isn't that bad for drops. I don't mind doing Thunder Mountain either.
No, it's not. It's not a big deal.
I also, while we were at Hollywood Studios that day, I went on Tower of Terror. Doesn't bother me at all. And that you're dropping straight down, but it's the stomach thing. It's the way my stomach tenses up when I'm going face forward. Butt forward is okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's how physics works.
I'm not talking about the physics. It was the feeling in my stomach. I didn't mind Tower of Terror, but I did, I was not upset that our Splash Mountain Fast Passes got canceled. Shucks.
Well,
I wasn't upset about that because, I don't like, I don't like that drop. And we're with a 6-year-old who's like, Splash Mountain. And I'm like, okay, I have to do this. If the 6-year-old can do it, I have to do it.
Peer pressure.
Though you did not succumb to peer pressure.
No.
You did not go on Tower of Terror with us.
I just say no.
She went on it.
I know.
She liked it.
Yeah.
She's a brave little girl.
She is.
Very.
When I was a kid, I was invincible as well.
Yeah. She's a good kid, though. We like her.
Yep.
Woody's Lunchbox. That is a little quick service location inside of Toy Story Land. And we've talked about it before that they will be opening a restaurant there. So that'll be great. When they open that, we can eat there and talk about that. But for right now, we'll talk about Woody's Lunchbox, which also was the first time that we had eaten there.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and they have the online ordering.
They do. They're part of that process. Almost all of the quick service now. I don't want to say all of them because I'm not 100% sure, but almost all of the quick service have the order online from the My Disney Experience app, which is this last trip. But the last trip it was busy, but it was a little buggy, so I don't know. Yeah,
it was in August, so a lot of kids were still out of school. It was before a lot of schools had started already, so
But we have used it in the past without a problem, and it's a crazy convenient because you can do it one of two ways. You can walk into the restaurant, find a table, sit down, order from the app, and then, a few minutes later it's ready. You go pick it up. Or you can order it, when you walk into the park. Say, let's see what we want for lunch. Order it then, and then as you're walking around the park, you'd open up the restaurant part and say, I'm heading over.
Right. You put in the order, but they're not actually going to make the order until you press that button saying, I'm in the restaurant.
Right. And they don't charge you until you push that button too, because that was what happened to us is because it was buggy. We put in the order, said submit.
He's not talking about bugs flying around. He's talking about the app was acting up.
Yeah, I'm a nerd, so buggy to me is something else.
Yeah, when you were saying it was buggy, I'm thinking it's August in Florida. And yeah, there were a lot of bugs out because I still have bites on me from that trip. So
I don't. They like you better.
Yeah.
So, but either way, when we put the order in and submitted it, and then it came back and said there was a problem.
It was a different restaurant.
Yeah,
you're talking about the app, not this restaurant.
But then, like 2 hours later, I got an email saying asking me if I still wanted my lunch.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
no.
they were having some issues, but we were able to use it at Woody's Lunchbox. It is a very busy area. I mean, it was difficult, but not impossible for us to find a table to fit the 5 of us. We got really lucky because there was a gentleman sitting at a table that would accommodate us, and he was on the phone, and we did, honestly, I think all of us kind of thought that he was waiting for his family, that he was doing what we were just explaining, sitting down, holding the table and waiting for his family. But he had just sat there just because he needed a seat. So he told us,
right,
like, hey, I'm getting up. You want this? So it was really nice of him. We really appreciated it. It was a great sized table, though the table was basically up to my chin. It's very weird.
Well, it was one of the two. Well, I don't know if there was two, but there's a few tables that are higher than the other ones. And we don't know. We were kind of trying to figure out why they would be, but maybe because most of the tables have normal chairs on them. This one's they had these little concrete themed as a Baby Bell.
The Baby Bell cheese.
Right. And then you could pull a chair up to it, but then the chair was like 8 inches lower than where it should have been. So yeah.
Yeah, it was a very awkward table to sit at, but it's okay because we had a place to sit. Yep. Had it been sunny out, there was an umbrella over it, but it was actually a little overcast, so that wasn't an issue. And that was the day, that was like our late lunch day. Like it was a snack because we had dinner. Yeah, we had a dinner, but we had a late dinner because it was 8 o'clock or something like that was the time for our dinner. Right. Somewhere around there. And then obviously, that's the time when you have the reservation. So by the time you sit and you order and we had an 8:30 reservation.
Oh, that's right.
Like 8:20 or 8:30. Right. And this was like 5 o'clock. And our fast passes for Slinky Dog were $6.50. So we were just sitting there killing time and having a snack. But you and I kind of ordered the same thing. We both got a grilled cheese.
Yep.
Honestly,
grilled 3 cheese.
Right. Exactly. Honestly, it was a little greasy.
It was.
I wasn't crazy about that part, but it was really nice that it really was a 3 cheese blend, with the white cheeses and the orange cheeses. And you can definitely tell there was a lot of cheese in that grilled cheese.
Yep. It wasn't a typical, a lot of places you go to and they say grilled cheese and it's like there's a slice of cheese in the middle of it. And it's like you can't tell, but this had it was basically oozing out. Yeah,
there was a lot of cheese, but again,
it would have been almost perfect if it wasn't so greasy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was. The bread was good. The cheese was good. Yep. It was just a little on the greasy side. You got it with, what do they call them?
Well, they call them potato barrels.
Right, but they're
commonly called tater tots.
Right. How many did you get?
It was like 7.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
No, it was.
That was a little bit disappointing.
And surprising too, because usually usually get a ton of fries. If you're in one of the other restaurants, you get a big handful of fries. But
well, and then again, we were with the 6-year-old, and she also got a grilled cheese, and her grilled cheese was smaller, but the container holding the tater tots was exactly the same size.
Right.
So that was a little unusual. We're not sure. I'm not sure if there were new cast members working there, because I ended up placing a second order, and I went up to the counter, and she knew exactly who I was because I had already placed one order with the phone.
Right.
So she knew my name, and so I'm standing there and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And then she asked the other people about it. And then it turns out that she could have given it to me all along.
Well, it's because, and this is, Disney has been releasing these tarts, and this is one of the restaurants. I think that's the only restaurant where you can pick them up.
Oh, I didn't know that other places had it. And I thought this was the only one, but who knows?
No, I think it is the only one. And then, so like this right now, they have the seasonal lemon blueberry lunchbox tart, which
I didn't see that the last time.
Yeah, because they change them every once in a while.
It was strawberry.
Right. And so
they recently changed it because we weren't there very long ago. It was within a week or two that we were there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but the other one is the same. It's the chocolate hazelnut lunchbox tart.
Well, like I said, we both got grilled cheese. Andrew got the tater tots. I got macaroni salad. It was pretty good. A little bit oily, but it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was a little bit different than getting French fries or, tater tots. I wanted to try something different.
Sure.
And I got the grown-ups lemonade. Mm-hmm. So they do have a couple of alcoholic beverage options at that quick service location, which is really nice.
Right.
And then after I finished my grilled cheese and my lemonade, because we still had time to kill, I said, well, let me try one of the tots that tarts. Sorry. Mm-hmm. Tater tots and Pop-Tarts, but they're not Pop-Tarts. They're just tarts. I wanted to try one of those. And so I went ahead and used the app and I ordered the chocolate hazelnut lunchbox tart. Mm-hmm. And it was really good, but I didn't know that they served it cold, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Hence why when I waited at the counter, I thought they were heating it up. I thought there was a line of people, other orders in front of mine, and that's why mine wasn't ready yet. But it turns out that they're kept in the front of the area. So I think that the cast member working there wasn't as familiar with how it goes or whatever. Maybe very, very few people order them, just a tart, so no one in the back is making it or whatever. So there was a little miscommunication there, not a big deal. Like I said, we were killing time anyway, so yeah, it just gave us more time to kill. But that was really good. Except for the hazelnut tart had bacon pieces on it.
Candied bacon pieces, but
still didn't care for it.
Well,
weird. But they easily come off.
Yeah.
You can just flick the candy pieces of bacon off if you're like me. And, it was just kind of weird because I just wanted the sweet, not the salty. And our friends got the strawberry one. Mm-hmm. And they said it was really good. So it's definitely enjoyable, the food, even though it's, a very limited selection. It's another one of those quick service that doesn't have as much selection as others. Right.
They have 4 entrees. So, the other ones are barbecue brisket melt, a smoked turkey sandwich, and the grilled cheese, and then what they call tachos, which is basically tater tots in a chili and cheese sauce kind of thing. And then it's topped with onions and sour cream and yada, yada. One of our friends had gotten that, and it looked pretty good. And I'm pretty sure he liked it because he finished it.
Right. I forgot that he got that.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're very limited. So if you have dietary restrictions, it might not be the best location for you to dine at. But for us, it was perfect because it was right near the attraction that we were waiting for our fast pass for. Yep. And we were lucky enough to get a nice table over there. Again, because they have the online ordering, you might want to do as we did and find your table first and then go ahead and place your order once you know that you'll be able to find seating. Unless you don't mind walking around with it. The containers were all made to be able to walk with.
Yeah.
Though it's kind of difficult if you have a beverage and your food.
Well, that's always the tough part is if you have a couple beverages. So that's actually, it's generally a good strategy. Find your table first and then send, 1 or 2 people up to order your food or do the online order.
Yeah. We did that a couple times this trip where whether we did online ordering or ordered at the restaurant, we found the table first. I'd go sit there or you would go sit there either way.
Right.
And then after we had our seats, then we would go and, either go pick up the food or order the food, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
But to sum up Toy Story Land, we really enjoy that part of the park.
Yep.
It'll be interesting once, in just a couple days, the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which we talked about in our last episode, that's going to open up to the public. And it's going to be very interesting how that affects the wait times in the rest of the park. It is not one of their larger parks. It is the smallest of the 4 parks in Florida.
It is. And I have a general feeling that it's going to get busier. Overall.
Way busier.
Yeah, because, there's still a limited amount of things. There's a couple things that just aren't open yet in Galaxy's Edge. And obviously they're limiting certain things. Like I was looking at something the other day, the Oga's Cantina, the bar. So if you have a fast pass for the bar, you're still only limited. They're going to throw you out.
Do they consider that a fast pass or a dining reservation?
I don't know.
Because our friend got it for us, so we're going at the end of September. But I don't know if it was booked as a fast pass or as a dining reservation.
I don't remember. I don't know either. Either way, it's a reservation. They're throwing you out in 45 minutes, regardless of anything. So when you walk in, the clock starts ticking. So just to manage the crowds. So,
that's funny. Well,
yeah. And there's a 2-drink, not minimum. There's a 2-drink maximum. That
makes sense though, because and we'll talk about that after we go there. We'll talk about it more, but at least from what we've seen online, because again, when we went for our preview, we weren't able to get in. All they have on their menu are drinks and like 2 snack items. And one of them, I think, is like peanuts or, something like that. It's really just bar food, bar snack food, not anything that's going to keep you full.
Right.
So I can understand them saying, hey, you have 45 minutes in here, because there's really nothing to do in there if you're sitting and enjoying the ambiance, but now they can't get other people and let them enjoy the ambiance. So 45 minutes is a decent amount of time for you to be able to experience it, I would think.
Same with getting reservations for Droid Depot, getting reservations to build a lightsaber.
You have to pay in advance. Well, you don't have to pay when you make your reservation, but before you walk in the door, once you get there for your reservation, they want you to pay because they want to make sure that you're not just going to take up space when there's other people that want to get in that are interested in purchasing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, it's getting to be dinner time. So I'm going to go eat something. Shocking, I know. So you can find us on your favorite podcast system, Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, you name it. You should be able to find us all over the place. We are 2 Grownups and a Mouse. Our website, 2grownupsandamouse.com. And again, if you don't feel like listening to us as a podcast, you can watch us on YouTube, 2 Grownups and a Mouse. We try and make it easy.
Yeah.
So
rate, review, thumbs up. Yes. All of it helps us.
So. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers.
Tell a stranger.
Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely.
So on that note, we will say thank you for listening. And I'm going to say good night.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon.
Good evening.
Or just goodbye.
Fine.
Bye.